escuchar el himno de Socca para dar inicio a este segundo partido. So now we're gonna listen the national anthem of Socca for this second match of this evening for the first doing World Soccer Championship here in Cancun, Brazil, Hungary.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Brazilians have arrived and arrived in style. A very warm welcome to the Soccer World Championships here in Cancun. We'll have the anthems and then we'll get straight into it. And you might notice a little bit of a lopsided lineup on the field as it stands. But what's a bit of soccer action without a bit of drama?
So we are ready for the second match of this evening. Estamos listos para el segundo encuentro de esta noche. Vamos a escuchar los himnos de estas dos naciones. We're going to listen the national anthem of these two teams tonight for this second match of this two-week Soccer World Championship. So for you all here in the stadium, please listen respectfully the anthems. Vamos a escuchar respetuosamente los himnos de estas dos naciones para el segundo encuentro de esta noche en el TUI Soccer World Championship. Y ahora escucharemos el himno nacional de Hungría. Pues estamos listos
Well,
para
the
el
matches
segundo
come
partido de
thick
esta
and
noche.
fast here at the
What's
Soccer
up,
World
Brasil?
Championships. We barely had
Buena
time to
suerte
take a
para
breath
Brasil.
after the home
Estamos
side
listos para
dismantled
este segundo
Belgium
partido.
in
So
the
we are
opening
ready
game.
for the
I'm Rob
second
Burke,
match
alongside
of
me,
this
Mr.
evening.
Soccer himself, Dan Shaw. Now, Dan, a man as seasoned as yourself wouldn't have taken long to notice something rather peculiar about the men in the famous yellow and green. Do you want to just explain what's going on?
Well, Brazil, as it stands, have got just the 6. It's all they need, in fairness. But they've had some issues with travel due to, we believe, the airspace issues currently in South America and Central America. And so at the moment, they don't have their full allocation. They did have visa issues, which have been sorted out. But yeah, they're going to have to play the game with just 6 for the 40 minutes. So no chance of making substitutions, changing, getting a breather. I like it in a lot of ways because it's a test, isn't it? Because no matter who you are and where you're from, you just identify with Brazil that they can play a bit. And so now that they've got the 6, it's going to be interesting to see how they go about their business. Are they just going to go out there and try and samba their way through it as usual? Or are they going to have to try and adapt their game slightly? Hungary, polar opposites, just a full barrage of red jerseys just walking away from that huddle. So they've got plenty of legs and energy in the tank over Brazil, and Hungary are a really good side, not to be underestimated at soccer level.
As if the game needed any more drama, we are going to begin, as Dan says, with Brazil at a disadvantage. We'll see how much of a disadvantage. As I said, thank you very much for joining us. The Soccer World Championships are underway here in Cancun. The stadium is full. The weather rather delightful as we creep on in to the evening. But it isn't all about Brazil. This Hungary side will certainly now fancy their chances if they didn't already.
Yeah, and Hungary with the Sorons, the ones to watch usually. They've got a real good way of playing, Hungary. They really know soccer inside and out.
Absolutely. In the opening game, as I said, if you are just joining us, the tail of the tape really was the Mexicans flooded bodies forward, and the Belgians had a game plan, and for a long old while it worked. It'll be interesting to see what the game plan is when you start with a man down. Brazil are about to show us, and they'll be hoping they'll show us the right way to do it. As for Hungary, they can't get ahead of themselves. It's all about patience really for them. Dispossessed in the middle of the park and the first opportunity. And look, it wasn't a tap-in by any stretch of the imagination, but the first chance of the game falls to the Brazilians.
Yeah, and they've got to go for it there, haven't they? It's not as though they can have the slow build. They've got to use them legs and try and burst themselves through, and that's what they did. They get the head up, and they've had the shot. They've got the corner.
Put it for Quezão, taking the corner for Brazil. Down in the left corner, and a left-footed effort for a moment there. It looked as though it had crept in. And I can't believe I'm going to say it, but they looked dangerous early on, the Brazilians. 2 efforts at goal already. It'll be important for the Hungary side not to panic. Steady build-up from then. Nice ball into the space on the right. No nonsense defending. Corner ball then for Hungary. Taken short, rifle to the back stick. Bit of venom on that from Donatabo.
Well, he's the danger man, Donatabo. Proper player, goal scorer. And if he gets a little eye at goal, a little sniff, he'll take it on.
Well, a loss in their opening game for Brazil would be pretty heartbreaking. Certainly not part of the plan. And as you said, Jabo, not afraid of breaking hearts of favourites in tournaments. Knocking Germany out not so long ago. Anywhere will do for Brazil. Here is the captain then for Hungary. Just got a touch on that. They made amends in the middle of the park. It is slow build-up, and the crowd aren't sure really what to expect here. But it isn't overwhelmingly obvious, Dan, that Brazil are playing with one less man.
No, not at the moment, but you know, you're 3.5 minutes in. We're going to have to see how that progresses, I think. I mean, it might be in the back of Brazil's mind that perhaps they have to get the goal early and then have something to defend and not have to go chasing and playing high up the pitch with only 6 players. But it is Brazil, so perhaps not.
Well, I think more importantly, again, we saw Mexico put in a superb performance, but it took them 30-odd minutes to really hit their stride. A lot of rotation, as you said, one of the biggest squads at the tournament. We're now looking at one of the smallest squads, and that's a big differentiator. The ball thrown across the box there. Opportunity goes amiss for Hungary, and really, you'd expect them to do better there.
Yeah, but they moved it around the area nicely and found the space. Unable to hit the target, but they have got a lot of players in there who can hit the target.
Well, Ben Szabo, usually a player who knows exactly how to hit the target. 2 goals at the Euro Cup earlier this year, against 2 very decent sides as well, and that is a slide, a big moment here, just on the edge of the area. Fortunately, it's taken quickly, too quickly, more importantly, and now the referees, I like seeing a bit of that, and that would have been borderline. Half a second later, and Hungary have the lead.
Yeah, but Brazil have got to wake up there though, Rob. You know, they've been saved by the referee, essentially. I mean, that is part of the rules, and they will make you wait, and they will make sure you're at the right distance. You know, that is part of the game, but they've got to be a little bit more alert than that.
Opportunities here, every man back, but remember, it's one less man for Brazil, right on the edge of the area. Trust me, you wouldn't want to be one of those defenders in the wall from this distance. 5 minutes on the clock. And a goal here would be huge. From the edge of the area, right-footed and smashed right over the crossbar. And I think those fans over in the right-hand stand are pretty grateful for that net behind the goal.
It certainly will be. It had some venom, although the one thing I'd say there, Rob, has got to hit the target. Little mistake there at the back's going to mean a corner, but yeah, from that kind of range, for me, I just want him to, he's got to get the ball in between them sticks. Make the keeper work.
Marcel Szabo then with the corner. Options, plenty of them, and not all of them marked either. That isn't a luxury Brazil have in this game. They're going to have to pick a man and almost hope for the best, really. Striding forward again, here come Hungary. Good tackle. Red ball though. To the edge of the area it goes, and not a lot of movement or options. Backwards, the only option. Right-footed effort, big save. The follow-up effort into the side netting. 2 big chances there, Dan.
Well, you just feel with Hungary that those chances keep coming. It's only a matter of time before Hungary take the lead. They won't keep on letting Brazil off.
It caught me off guard almost, because it looked as though the chance had gone amiss. But with that man advantage, there are just spaces where there usually isn't any room, and they exploited them there, Hungary. Patience will be the key for the boys in red. That was more of a slip on this occasion. But
yeah,
discipline's important here, Dan.
Well, yeah, it is, and to be fair to you, Rob, that's the best call you could have made, because there's too much about it at the moment from Brazil. They've got to stay on their feet. They can't keep giving cheap free kicks like that away. It's another good position, and I just feel as though because Brazil have arrived so late, it's almost as though they're not quite mentally prepared, and there's been a little bit of a lack of concentration perhaps at times from them.
Marcel and Donat Szabo over the ball. It'll be one of the two. Brazil, defensive fabric, spread thin. It will be Marcel Jabot just looking to bend it into the side netting at the far post, and not quite enough whip on it. But I think you said it earlier, Dan, you've got to hit the target when those opportunities come up.
Yeah, much better strike. I mean, he walloped it, didn't he?
Well, appeals for a free kick. The referees wave play on. The goal is open. How about that for defending? Chaos here.
Well, that's a get out of jail free card, that one, Rob. As you say, really well defended by that defender. Other than that, Brazil were absolutely miles away, all at sea defensively, and there was just far too much room. You can't be outnumbered in your own penalty area by the attacking side.
And that's exactly what Brazil were on that occasion. Huge appeals for a foul. You've got to be stronger. And this time, they will get the free kick, although there's a little bit of confusion. It was a push in the back, and I think it justified a free kick on
100%.
in this instance.
I think Spirulets was just trying to make the point, because two big guys going together, I think he was just letting him know that he was the bigger man, the stronger man perhaps, but doing it illegally.
Opportunity then for Brazil from the dead ball. Bit of range, left-footed effort. Plenty behind it. Gabriel Ferro, never really on target though. And the keeper did dive, but I don't think he was too worried.
No, I don't think so. It was a bit of a shrunken down Roberto Carlos v France free kick, wasn't it? Not quite as effective.
Not quite as generous. Point being though, Brazil have had a handful of opportunities for efforts on goal. And I think it's a lot like Manchester United playing Everton the other day. They've got the man advantage. All of a sudden, it's on Hungary to win this game. But you don't want to go and lose it trying to win it. There's nobody there. Beautiful footwork at the back. And Vishak called into action. Not quite as comfortable as you'd expect. Hungary.
No, I mean, they've had the better of it, haven't they, so far? But, you know, Brazil, not really the type of nation, if any, to not want to still take the game to the opposition, show what they're about. They're still going to try and show you a bit of that flair and an attacking prowess. Not with that passer.
Well, Hungary, as I said, had it been a full contingent for Brazil, perhaps wouldn't have been favourites for the tournament, but they are very experienced. Played every World Cup since 2019, so they know what they're doing. Right-footed effort, blocked on the way through, appeals for handball. The referee, though, didn't flinch, and neither did the keeper there. Solid save, but nothing he couldn't handle.
No, not quite enough on it, was there, to beat the keeper, especially at his near post.
As I was saying, an experienced side, Hungary. A fair few places behind Brazil in the world rankings. But they're knitting together the passes nicely here. That's a heavy touch. Still the opportunities there, and a penalty appeal. And I tell you what, that could have been given. They'll probably take a look at it. Brazil are up the other end. Again, never really troubling the goalkeeper. But there was something in that, Dan.
It looked close. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was given. It was one of them, could have gone either way. You wouldn't have complained.
Good ball, though. And another good save. Working it nicely now, Hungary. To the edge of the area it goes. Another good block. Piling on the pressure now, Martin Bartok with the latest opportunity for Hungary. You just feel now the pressure is mounting. 12 minutes gone in this, the second game of the Soccer World Championships. Right-footed effort, blocked again. They're getting bodies in the way. Not much of a choice, really. It's a rear guard action from Brazil so far. Forced into playing this way. Over to the far side it goes then. It's patient build-up, but they'll want a chance. Right-footed effort. There is the opening goal for Hungary. It's been coming. A resilient opening 12 minutes from Brazil. But a beautiful strike gives Hungary the lead, and Rocco Tolne, he'll take his place on the bench, happy with his contribution, giving his side the lead.
Well, Rocco Tolne's been there and done it many, many times before, and he's not a player you want to be giving room to on the edge of the area there.
Not at all. Immediately, though, Brazil remind them, even with a man down, they're still in this game. It's end-to-end all of a sudden. Really livening up here, but it was a beautiful finish.
Yeah, it was a nice finish, but again, just too much room. I'll tell you what I did like as well, Tolne's little drop of the shoulder to get away there.
Spaces starting to appear now for Hungary. Player at the back stick, chested in. Light work, really. And the second has arrived. Faketa, he won't score many easier than that. The celebration slightly muted. It's all about getting the job done for Hungary.
Yeah, well, I told you earlier on, they know how to play soccer, and this is playing soccer. Hit that back post, find the extra man. Brazil not alert to the fact that someone's lurking around on that back stick, and it's just meat and drink.
Meat and drink indeed. The issue here, we've seen a team in the previous game, Belgium, set up to defend and counter-attack, and that was a decision that they made. Brazil don't really have a choice. And now, trailing by 2 goals with 15 minutes gone, the mountain all of a sudden just that little bit bigger for Brazil.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, Hungary as well, one of the masters. Again, I'll talk about.
Bit of danger here. Again, Hungary are hungry for it. Good pressure. It'll be a goal kick, but much more comfortable now. 2 goals to the good.
Yeah, and again, I say, again,
they've won it back really high up the field, and if not for a slip there, it could have been made even worse. Philcourt couldn't quite capitalise, but huge appeals from the fan. I'm not sure what they
think there was an intentional elbow, I think.
Well, there is a bit of blood there, and we will have a review. To initiate that kind of reaction, Dan, from the fans who are neutral.
It doesn't look to me, I'm just going by the player's reaction, you can see him there. I'm not convinced that there's anything intentional and there's really anything in that, because there's it's a very kind of relaxed appeal. Okay, he's got a bit of blood on his hand, but that can happen. You can get stamped on a slide or something. That that's one of those things. I don't think there's going to be anything in there. It looks as though they are checking it though.
Nothing doing, says the referee, and you can see there's a bit of back and forth between the Brazilian bench and the fans and players behind them. Bit of spice to the game, as if it needed it. Wow. Bit of entertainment. What more can you ask for? That's a misplaced pass. It will be 3, and making no mistake this time, Benjamin Philcourt. He slipped again, actually, but this time hits the target. It's 3-0 to Hungary.
It's just too open from Brazil, isn't it? I mean, that's no good either, is it? That little back pass from the keeper. Not enough on it, and I've tried to say it 3 times now. I finally can again. Hungary just know how to play this game, and they won't allow silly mistakes to go unpunished. And the worst thing for Brazil is that Hungary are so good at defending leads, or if it's in a game where it's going to be tight and there's not going to be much in it, breaking them down. For Brazil to be able to break Hungary down now and not get a slapping is going to be tough.
It is indeed, and with the man advantage, they won't be looking to defend the lead. They'll be looking to make a statement, as much as you can make a statement when you are playing against the team with 1 less player. But they're 3 goals to the good in the opening 17 minutes. And regardless of whether Brazil are playing with a full contingent or not, you couldn't have really asked for a better start if you are of a Hungarian persuasion.
Yeah, Hungary will be very happy that they've turned up against 6 Brazilian players and have this opportunity, but they're taking it.
An early Christmas present for the Hungarians, and they are enjoying themselves now. Good touch down the line, left-footed effort into the side netting. Faketa certainly possesses the power to beat a keeper from any angle. That one, though, ever so slightly too acute, even for the best finishers in the business. Here is Jabo, switches on to his left foot, and he snuck it in. Well, when things are going your way, goals tend to come from all kinds of angles and all kinds of ranges. Beautiful finish. It's 4. It's a dream start for Hungary.
Certainly is. That little touch on the left foot, drop the shoulder, runs it in. Strikes to the bottom corner. I think the keeper might be a little disappointed with that. Brazil
a little disappointed.
This is big trouble, Rob. Big trouble for Brazil.
It's frustration. There's nothing they can do about it. Circumstances out of their control has put them in the situation they find themselves in. All they can do, damage limitation really. 4-0 down in the opening half of their opening game, and it could get a lot worse very quickly because Oliver Faketa fancies it tonight.
Yeah, they certainly does. They all fancy it tonight, I think. They're just, our eyes are beginning to light up, aren't they? They're seeing that Brazil are struggling, as we say, with the numerical issues that they've got. And they just looked a little bit warped of all that confidence that they had at the start of the game. It just isn't the makeup, the DNA of Brazil, is it? It's a different, very different to what we imagine Brazil to be.
Well, there is the half-time whistle, and Dan said it perfectly there. It's not the creative Brazil, the Brazil that play with flair that we're used to. However, it absolutely is the Hungary we're used to. Clinical, patient, and that patience has absolutely paid off. They take a 4-0 lead into the break. Christmas has come early. They've taken full advantage, and really more of the same in the second half if you are of a Hungarian persuasion, Dan.
Certainly if you're of a Hungarian persuasion, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. They just got to keep on going. I mean, Hungary have got an opportunity now to go out, make a real statement, put themselves top of the group with a really large goal difference. And I'm really sorry, I'm going to have to break away because I've been gifted a shirt.
Well, for those of you who can't see us up in the commentary box, Dan is being gifted with a quite beautiful soccer jersey. And it's got his name on the back. And when I tell you that man is gleaming from ear to ear, he absolutely is. You'll love that. Straight into the collection, right amongst the Pompey jerseys, of which I assure you he has plenty, but I'm sure he'll make room for this one. However, more importantly, there is a game going on, and really the impossible question that the Brazilian coaches will be asking themselves is, what do we do now? 4-0 down in their opening game. By no means is it the end of their tournament, but this Hungary side smell blood. And with 6 players, not only on the field, but with 0 players on your bench, that 20 minutes feels longer and longer and longer. A big half for the Brazilians coming up. For Hungary, it's more of the same. They're missing some key players, but you wouldn't know it in the first half. Tibor Soron, Hutsi, just a few names that you might recognise if you are a regular soccer viewer. They score a lot of goals, but they haven't needed them tonight so far. Hungary are a side, as I said, that have played every single World Cup since 2019. They've been to all 3 Euro Cups, and they played in the Copa America in 2024 as well. They are a very experienced side, and they'll make no mistake. Defending will not be on the agenda for Brazil. That might be the only thing on the agenda. They've just got to get through the second half. And with the groups as well, it's early days, but the groups will be tight, I promise you that. Every game matters. And in a lot of instances, goal difference might come into play. And as Dan Shaw joins me once more, looking rather smart in his brand new Honduras jersey. How you feeling?
Totally in shock. I'm really sorry. I completely lost my head there, didn't I? I was just turned around, was showing a Honduras shirt. I've been having a little chat with the coach beforehand. They're brand new to soccer, and he has done so much to get his side here. The sponsorship and pulling these sides together. He's got a big interest in really developing soccer in Honduras and getting the leagues together and getting more players involved so that he can create a really solid national side. I tell you what, in the same group as Brazil, aren't they? So they're going to be looking at Brazil as a brand new country, thinking, well, hang on a minute, we might just go slipping into second place here if we get a decent result. So it's going to be interesting. I think they're game 2 tomorrow. So we look forward to that one. I'm going to have to bring my Honduras shirt, and I've got my name on the back of the shirt. Unbelievable stuff. Only 2 games in, I'm a jersey up.
You mentioned it there, though, Dan. Opportunity for the other teams. Problems for Brazil.
Well, yeah, of course it's a problem for Brazil. I mean, they'll hope, of course, that they bolster the ranks as the days go on. But they're going to be looking at this and wondering how on earth they're going to get through. But Honduras, they'll take great encouragement from what they've seen so far. The coach just asked me, "Have you got any tips against Hungary?" I said, no.
The first word's good and the second word's luck.
I said, I said they're very good. And they are. They're a top soccer side, Hungary. Absolutely fantastic. There's going to be a massive game for Honduras against them, but perhaps Brazil is the one they'll have their eye on.
And we are back underway then in the second half, and there are very few theme songs that could have summed up this situation any better. For those of you who didn't notice, it was the Jaws ominous tune playing before the game, and I promise you it is the Hungarians who are the shark, and it is the Brazilians who are swimming without any support here. A big second half then. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, well, perhaps the scoreline you didn't quite expect to be tuning into. Hungary 4, Brazil 0. Brilliant finishing in the first half. Regardless of the man advantage, they were clinical, and opportunities here to add insult to injury. The pass didn't quite hit its mark, but Balicki hit the deck. Muted appeals, but straight back to routine for Hungary, Dan.
Yeah, there were some appeals, but they came from the stands. Brazil at least have still got that support from around the world for just who they are and what they're about, but we're not seeing much of that so far. And even then, though, when that challenge came in, it was because they were so slow in getting forward. They've just got to up the tempo here. I know it's going to be tough because they've got only the 6 players. They can't rest. It is so tough in these games because there's nowhere to hide. But they've got to find that goal, and I think they're going to have to get forward, and here they come. Good
footwork there in the middle. The bright spark really has been Purification over on that left side. Beautiful footwork from him. If they are going to find a goal, it might come from him. Opportunity here, left-footed, and what a bit of swerve that one had on it. You know what I wanted to call that one had it nestled into the top corner?
Well, he wasn't far away, was he? Absolutely threw that left boot at it. They need something, Brazil, just to get them going.
Bit of space on the left-hand side. The ball, though, met by a wall of red and cleared away. Spirulitz making sure. Heavy touch on the edge of the area, and this game hasn't really got going. Hungary haven't had to be too cohesive to get the ball in the back of the net. And Brazil, well, the rhythm that we are ever so familiar with just hasn't quite been found, and you can almost feel it in the atmosphere. It's not sort of sympathetic atmosphere, but you can't help but feel for them, the Brazilians.
Well, it hurts, doesn't it, to see Brazil not be the Samba boys that you know that they can be. I'm sure that there will be people here who have attended to see just that, see that real beautiful flair that Brazil possess, but it's just not here at the moment.
It's exciting before they even kick a ball. Tempers flaring ever so slightly. Not afraid to put a challenge in the Brazilians. We've seen a few shoulder-to-shoulder efforts. It's difficult to know what to do, and while you were receiving your beautiful jersey, Dan, it would have been a pretty different atmosphere down with the Brazilian coaches. What do you say to your side in this situation?
I mean, first and foremost, they've got to get the basics right, which is getting the shape right, making sure you've got men behind the ball, not giving the ball away in dangerous areas. But then, of course, you've got to work at the other end because you're chasing. This is what we need. Let's go and show who we are and what we're about. Let's take people on. Let's get our shots away. And, you know, if they go down, let's go down fighting.
Well, speaking of not giving the ball away in a dangerous position, they did very well on 2 occasions there to do the exact opposite and created an opportunity, slightly wayward with their finishing, but you can't deny they've had a couple of bites at the cherry. Ferro with the latest for Brazil. That's beautiful though from Hungary, and once again at the back stick, it's that man to make it 5. Routine, shape, precision, they've got it all, Hungary, and that is almost a carbon copy of their previous goal, although this one was along the ground and they've made it 5.
Yeah, well, I say it time and time again. Our other commentator, Scoop, sat quite close to us, and he knows exactly what I'm going to say. And that is, you get a man on that back post, you hit the back post, just like that. That is the sweet spot in soccer. Brazil, they just don't have the nous that Hungary do.
Not quite. 5-0. Tough for Brazil. There's only so much they can do. But again, if you are Hungarian, if you're one of the players on that field, what an opportunity to get your tournament off to a dream start, beyond really what they could have dreamt of last night before the tournament began. The big boys are scoring. Their tactics are perfect, and really, what an opportunity to see how your team play. You've got the man advantage. You're going to be on the attack. It's important to score goals as it is to keep clean sheets. We saw Mexico hit their rhythm. It took them a good 25-30 minutes to really get going. Hungary, well, they've not messed around here, and they'll be looking for 6. Once again, the referee's whistle, spotting there that the ball was over the line. Brazilian ball. And I promise you, should Brazil find the back of the net, the stadium would very much enjoy it.
I think they would. I think they would. It's a lot easier said than done against Hungary, as many nations will attest.
Absolutely. A very experienced team, and it showing exactly why they're here. That's a lovely ball and a beautiful save.
That was a beautiful save, Rob. The keeper really brave in that instant. Flew off of his line.
There hasn't been too much really Aquino can do. No chance there. The captain slots it home. Branko Petric enjoyed that one. It's damage limitation for Brazil. It's tough to see, but you've got to love that. He's enjoying the goal that he scored. The job is done. Brutal, really, though, for the Brazilians. 6-0. Not what they would have wanted at all. And as we praise Aquino for a wonderful save, moments later, picking the ball out the back of his net once again. Opportunity. It's really getting tough now. It's another for Hungary. Blink and you'll miss it.
Well, it's always going to be a tough night for Brazil, but it's getting tougher. There's so much time to go. What did I say earlier? just make one of the things you say, no mistakes, nothing for free, and that is a gift.
Well, Donut Chabo, really, again, said it before, an early Christmas present. He won't score many easier than that. Brazil won't face many tests tougher than this. Not only a test of stamina, a test of character, backs against the wall from the start. And really now Hungary licking their lips. How many can they make it? They've got 7. But I think it's fair to say no mercy is the mindset. To the byline it goes. A wrist stinger for the keeper, Aquino. A tough night for him. These Hungarians certainly have power behind their shots, and a perfect example there. Marcel Jabo, left-footed effort, 8-0. Now even I didn't imagine I'd be saying that when I was told my opening game would be Brazil against Hungary.
I don't think Hungary would have told you that either. When that draw was made, I'm pretty sure they would have expected this one to be their toughest test.
Now, difficult question for you, Dan. It was always going to be tough for Brazil, but how many is too many? Surely here they've got to put a stop to these Hungarian goals flying into the back of the net, because some of them have been absolute gifts.
Well, the problem at the moment they've got is that time is not on their side. Is it still more than 10 minutes of the second half to go? To keep a clean sheet, considering they've conceded 8 already, would be an uphill task. I think they're just going to have to try and keep it under 10, but I'm not sure they're going to.
Bartek spreading it nicely to the goal scorer, Marcel Jabo. His shot, though, this time slightly wayward. Playing with a confidence, and it's no surprise, really, how often do you score this many against Brazil? Strong whistle.
Yeah, but the keeper's come outside of his area there. He doesn't agree. I think he was quite substantially out of his area, to be fair.
I assure you, he did come out of his area. But in a situation like this, you'll take anything you can get. But it takes a little bit more than that to change the minds of the referee once they've made their decision. Very, very rarely will it ever change. Opportunity then for Hungary, right on the corner of the area. Left-footed, laid off, and almost looking to dink it there to the back stick, the captain. Didn't quite get it right on this occasion, Patrick. But you can afford to get fancy with it when you are 8 goals to the good.
Yeah, I think they can have a little experiment, can't they, and have a little mess around, play around. The only thing that they could possibly do for Brazil now is just show them some mercy, but they just keep coming.
Vishak does not have mercy in his mind, and not a chance does Faketa have mercy in his. A right-footed effort, slotted home. That is 3 for the number 7. And regardless of the scoreline, if you're talking about personal accolades, 3 against Brazil, probably up there.
I think that one will be going in the notebook, Rob. He might not be done.
Well, Hungary are a lot of things, and you've seen plenty of the good. Merciless on the best of days. And this is one of the best days they would have had. Opening day of the 2025 Soccer World Championships. And they find themselves on the hunt for double digits against the former world champions in Brazil. A goal for Brazil, as I said, would certainly spark the crowd into some jubilant celebrations, I'm sure. But it would be a mere consolation at this point. It's all about these last 8 minutes now, really, for Brazil. Can they give us a glimpse of what they'll hope is to come? Not yet. Dead ball opportunity, though. Corner ball. And there aren't many options, and there hasn't been all night. Oliveira plays the 1-2. Here is Ferro. Good strength from him. Dispossessed in the end, though. Look at that, 9-0 up. And Vishak on the hunt still.
Well, I've covered a lot of Hungary games in the past couple of years. Very rarely do they have big, high-scoring games, Hungary. They usually keep it tight. And it's been anything but tight, this one. Been far too easy.
More importantly, of course, they have the man advantage, but the man advantage doesn't make you any more clinical. Once the chance is there, you've got to have your shooting boots on. And I think what they'll be very happy with is they haven't wasted anything. They've hit their mark right from the off, boosted by the advantage they were gifted. That's a lovely turn on the edge of the area, right-footed effort spilled by Aquino. In the end, though, he does get his hands on it. Brazil charging up the other end of the field, just looking to hook one in. Nothing doing there, though, for Lee.
More concerning there is that he just bent down and grabbed that shin, didn't he? I think he caught the back of the Hungary player's heel on his shin on the way through. And one thing they do not want, Brazil, is one man less on the pitch.
Injuries is the last thing they want. Staring down a double-digit defeat in the opening game, and that one would have taken the back of the net off. It nearly knocked down the supporting nets, protecting the supporters. Back with Brazil then, pressing up the field. Hungary couldn't quite get on the end of that one. Rocco Tolny. Anywhere will do as they caress it forward. Heavy touch off the chest, though, and Hungary come once again. Here is Tolny. Beautiful 1-2. Into the area it goes, or just about. Tolny, right-footed, sent the keeper to his knees, but a block just in time. And for now, and I emphasise for now, it remains 9-0. But chances are flowing. That one, though, wasted. Benjamin Philcourt, he has scored already today. The boys with the number 7 on their back tend to be the ones who like to float to that back stick.
He's still struggling as well, the Brazilian number 7. On the subject of sevens.
Not what you want to see.
Well, he's had a quiet night in the Hungarian goal, hasn't he? He's only had the second half, Laszlo Jasko, but not a great deal to do.
Well, if you were wondering, Zashko is wearing grey. You wouldn't have seen him too often, as Dan said. Might have an opportunity here, though, as Brazil find themselves deep into opposition territory. But it's a scary sight when you look up from a dead ball and see that number of red jerseys in your way. Beautiful footwork, though, and he's really been the shining light for Brazil.
Well, that's unlucky. I mean, you're almost willing it, aren't you? You want Brazil to score just to soften the blow a little. And well, if it had gone in, it would have been a beauty.
Well, purification, a mouthful for the commentators and a handful for defenders, hasn't really had the platform to shine tonight. But glimpses, absolutely. And Aquino, not afraid to slide in to win the ball back. Drilled into the centre forward, though. Moving it wonderfully well here, Hungary, looking for double digits, and on the spin, lashing one wide, was for Keta. Well, his shorts don't have pockets, but if they did, they'd be full. I'm sure he'll be keen to squeeze one or two more goals in. Time ticking away, 3 minutes remain. Now, there wasn't any sign of mercy from Hungary. Will the referee show them a little bit as soon as that clock hits 40?
Oh, I hope so.
Well, they don a pretty stern look most of the time, the referees here, but they are lovely men.
Yep, well, I always say the same thing. We've got Kostas Koutsianis of Greece and Adin Hazic, who you've just seen, who do traditionally referee together. They're joined at the hip most of the time. And I call them Laurel and Hardy. They're just a real couple of jokers, always laughing, smiling, lots of fun. As soon as they get on the soccer field, all business, and I love it.
You wouldn't know it at all business, and that's what Hungary have been tonight, all business. And right now, business is good for the Hungarians. Wayward effort from the set piece, and that's all it's been for Brazil. Glimpses from their number 8, and dead ball opportunities that just haven't been taken. Half-hearted effort, and really they're not playing with a smile on their face. They're tired, and who can blame them? Playing with 5 outfield players from the start, difficult. Backstick for Keta, and really there are so few words left to express how well Hungary have played, and I think even them now, as they reach double digits against Brazil, a little bit of mercy perhaps slipping in. They've got their double digits. It's 10.
Yeah.
Dan, not the game Brazil were hoping for.
Not the game any of us were hoping for, in fairness and truth, is it? But, you know, you hope that Brazil eventually are going to come stronger, and hopefully have some more players in their side for the remaining fixtures. But you just don't want to be playing Hungary if you're in this kind of situation. They will absolutely school you in soccer, and that's what they've done. Just torn them apart through playing the game the only way they know how, which is this kind of well-oiled, well-drilled machine, patterned play, moving your opponent around, kind of chess-like, and Brazil just not having an answer to it.
Well, 11 would be outrageous, and how on earth is it not 11? Ben Shabo inside the area, and one of the easier chances of the night goes amiss.
Well, I've seen him score some really difficult ones, and he's missed an absolute sitter.
They reached the last 16 last year, Hungary. They'll certainly be looking to better that. With your expert eye on this one, it isn't an easy judge, but surely they'll be looking to do a little bit better this year.
Oh, absolutely they will. Look, Hungary are one of those sides, they kind of fly under the radar a little bit because they're not always the sexiest of teams. But what they are, as I mentioned, is that well-oiled machine. They just know how to play. Ask Germany about Hungary. They are ants at a picnic for Germany. They just won't go away. And they have always been able to find a way when you would look at, well, people were writing them off. And they've got a big squad. They've got good players. They've got plenty of players on the pitch who could score goals. And they're a threat. And if they get out the group, which I'm almost certain they will, Rob, you know, soccer's amazing because any team from at the knockout stages can win it. And Hungary will believe that they can do it, for sure.
The full-time whistle has gone then. The stadium DJ played the Jaws music as the second half commences. In those films, the Shark didn't win, but it was Hungary who smelt blood, and they absolutely took the opportunity.